Hello everyone, welcome to Ink Radio episode 20. Sorry if everything's hemorrhaging right now. I have no idea what's going on.
God damn
Everything's
it,
a
Spoon.
disaster.
What the hell did you do this time?
It's all because Kendall came in late. That's the whole... I blame Kendall for this.
Always throwing him under the bus.
Yeah, man.
How's it my fault?
Because you hosted us. It just... Everything fell apart, man.
Wait, I'm sorry your computer can't handle a host. It's not my fault.
Kendall got too big now. His hosts are just too large.
Yeah, that's the problem, man. It just breaks the stream. Nothing I can do about it.
It was only what? I don't even know. Not everybody stayed.
Anyways, welcome everyone to Ink Radio episode 20. We have Hermes from Ink TV on the show, also Team Supernova. He's filling in for Nine on an emergency because Nine got called into work literally while we were saying he's going to be on the show. He's like, nope, I have to go to work. So Hermes gladly joined us today.
Yeah, how's it going, guys? Excited for this week. So much good stuff's going on. Hope everyone's having a good day.
Yep, so we have a lot to cover actually this week. I didn't think we'd have a lot of stuff, but then after going over everything, I'm like, man, a lot of stuff happened. So let's get right into it. I
just want to acknowledge that, you don't even introduce me anymore. That's how many times
It's because you're a regular, man. I didn't introduce Kendall. I said that he was the
I know,
reason.
that's what I'm saying. I'm not angry about it. I'm happy about it.
By the way, if you notice, on the you guys see... Clearly, you don't watch this show after we're done. Because if you watched our YouTube videos, you would see it says regular cast members, Walkman, Nine, Kendall, and Spoon. You're just a regular now. Don't feel special anymore, Walkman.
I stopped, watching the posts or whatever when you stopped making me do them for you. When you got off your lazy
Anyways, let's get right into it. We've had a lot of prize pool tournaments this week.
Yep.
Crazy, right? We had a $350 BNS tournament, and we had the $200 SQSS over the weekend. Both not run by us. SQS is streamed by us, but coincidentally, we streamed both events that had prize pools. So first, let's just get into BNS really quickly. Is what happened? We'll get into the matches because it was Clan Blitz centric, and I feel like it's cool to talk about because there were quite a bit of top teams, at least NA teams, entered because of the prize pool. So what happened is that to give a story breakdown, we had Upgrade. It was Lag in particular. He thought he wasn't going to be able to make BNS, so he generously donated $50 and said, "Hey, give a $50 prize pool to whoever wins. We'll put a bounty on it, right?" And we're like, "Damn, that's awesome, right? Lag's the best." And then we're like, "Okay, we'll open up a donation." Thing just for the fun of it, whatever you want to donate, no stress, no whatever. We ended up getting $350 for a tournament, and we're just like, okay, I guess we're hosting a $350 tournament on Thursday. So we did that, and it was Clan Blitz coincidentally. So yeah, that's how it came to be, and then Upgrade ending up winning.
Of course, because Lag ended up not having work or whatever. I think it was he said wing night or something.
Yeah, I was gonna go out and work.
Yeah, he's like fuck wing night, $350. Anyways, so that
he
came
incentivized himself.
So anyways, we had a $350 prize pool just like that out of nowhere, so it was pretty awesome. So thank you to Upgrade for generously donating that prize pool and then winning it all again.
And then donating it again.
Yeah, and then donating it again. They've donated their half.
Seriously?
Yeah, so they paid it forward. $50 for 2 events are going to be now in the prize pools.
It's kind of crazy. It's gonna you're gonna seem like an asshole if you don't donate that money back.
It's like you guys don't have this because in Canada it's like the Tim Hortons pay it forward. You go through the drive-thru at Tim Hortons, you buy someone a coffee, and the next person gets the free coffee, and you're that asshole that takes the free coffee and walks away. You can't be that guy.
Except the difference is that this one's much more publicized. With Tim Hortons and Starbucks, you can just totally not do it, and then no one will realize behind you unless there's some sort of special event. With this, we are blatantly saying Upgrade did this, so now we're setting the precedent, and now the team down the line, if they don't do it, are going to get like stomped on by the community.
Oh no, they're just being nice guys, man. Take the money. Yeah. I'll let you know. Take the money.
Nah, you guys really should have set a precedent for that.
Well, I mean, they did. Like, it does set a precedent. But anyways, it's up to you. We're not saying that you have to do it. Anyways, let's get into it, because we did see a lot of top teams because of this. Tomo in particular was in the finals. We also had Saikai, who was in it as well. They ended up finishing third, right, Walkman?
CJ/Saikai.
Oh yeah, CJ/Saikai. Yeah.
They were second. Tomo was actually third. They lost to Upgrade in the semifinals.
Yeah. So Upgrade won overall by a interesting strategy. So how do you guys feel about Clan Blitz?
Really?
There you go. Well,
really?
tell me why it's not interesting to you.
Isn't it the same thing that we've been seeing since like the beginning?
Okay.
Except optimized to a T.
Yeah.
Like.
Upgrade is killing it with the cheese, man. Like, they know how to do it. Like, let's put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, like, basically, if you didn't tune in, one, go watch the VOD of them against CJ. It's insane the way that both teams utilize that strategy. It's really cool to watch, because even though it might not look super interesting on the outside, when you think about the kind of build-up that both teams have to go through, getting 3 or 4 full power clams and actually being able to get them safely, that's the difficult part. The difficult part is building those clams. It's not getting in and with a baller. That's the easy part. It's getting those clams and then being able to strategically jump. And like, they did that incredibly well, and that was why they ended up winning 2 nail biter sets in a row against Tomo and CJ. Both of them were 4-3 in Upgrade's favor.
I mean, I think it also has to do with like the situation. Also, you forgetting like you have to stay up late night for this. So like, I guess Upgrade had the whole down to like, we stay up late every single night. Everybody else is probably like wiping the crust out their eyes, trying to like stay up for the stretch, stay up for the tournament and everything. So you threw them out of their element. So you starting like actual factors here that actually like make competition interesting, man.
But but do you think it was interesting? Would you agree that Upgrade did it really well? Regardless of what you think about Clan Blitz and like the strategy behind it, you can't deny that they executed it like amazing.
Yeah, they deserved it for sure. I mean, you can't take anything away from them.
Yeah. So. Why would we try and take anything away from it?
Yeah.
Everybody else can do the same exact thing.
Well, that's the whole point. Everyone can do the exact. Regardless of what you think of the mode, whether you think it's competitive or whatever, is like everyone can do the same thing Upgrade did, but Upgrade did it the best. Let's put it that way. I think, and that strategy was like, you could read it every single time. Lag waits for a baller. He gets the baller charged up. 3 people wait for Clan Blitz to get power clams, and they just defend in their base for like 2 minutes. Lag runs into their base with a baller. 3 people super jump to him, and they get 3 super clams in. It was like every single time that's how it worked.
Yeah, and I mean, like, what else can you say? That is the optimized way to do that strategy, because we've known that like baller jumping, that's been the big push since like after the bubble push that was initially big in Clan Blitz. Now it's all about baller jumps, and they optimize it to a T, because they're, instead of just going in as soon as they get a few clams and can get a decent push, they're just like, nah, let's be patient, let's hoard all the clams ourselves and then go in. And when they do that, they're able to.
I'm really pretty sure Saikai was like actual Saikai. It was.
Kendall, you're like going in and out, man.
I'm going like, how bad is it? Like robot-y or like?
No, it's like you're talking and then it just like literally fades away.
Yeah.
Is it good now? Are we good?
Yeah, it sounds good now.
You just need to be close to it so far.
Anyways, one last thing I want to bring up is one thing I did notice watching a lot of Clan Blitz 2 last week was have you noticed that a lot of people take the bait on the ballers? So when you have a baller, the whole point is you're not supposed to pop the baller if someone has a super clam, because if you break the baller, they can just shoot the clam into the base, right? So many people have fallen for it.
Well, I think that's the whole point of, that's the best way to counter the strategy, is when they baller in, you destroy their ball before they get into a position for the jumps. So that's what they're trying to do, is even if they get to keep the 1 clam in their hand and maybe get a score there, it makes the jumps not in a good position to get the clams in really easily. So I think risk the maybe 1 power clam versus 3 coming in, that I think that's most people's strategy, but then they don't let up on the gas and then they kill the ball by the time even though the ball's already been in position for a second.
Yeah, it's just people, they're trying to worry about the jumps in, they're not really worried about the actual baller. I mean, there's plenty of ways people can address trying to deal with it. I don't know if it's going to work 100%, but you can go after the other people, not the baller, which is probably one of the best ways, especially in that exact set. What was it, like Black Belly Skate Park Clam Blitz?
Yeah.
I felt like CJ just like disregarded that there were 3 other players for like a good minute with power clams on them, and they were just letting them stay inside their spawn for like a good minute, and that's not how you're gonna win a game. That was their own fault for actually losing. And then I guess I'll address something I saw in the chat, was like, because they beat Tomo and Saikai or /CJ, are they a top team now in team upgrade? And I don't think so. One mode will never define that, no matter what it is, even if it's splat zones.
No, I think that's fair. I don't think it's unmerited though either to say that they're not improving, right? Like, I know it's Clam Blitz, but like you could see their coordination, and if they can coordinate that well against that top team, I mean, Upgrade's won a ton of BNS tournaments, but they've never played against like a Saikai CJ or a Tomo. You know, like we've never seen that. Upgrade was the top team in BNS, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They're like our resident homeboys.
Until I see them get like a top 4 or so in like a SQSS or something like that, then that's when I'll say they're a top.
They play in SQSS?
No.
Nope.
Because they don't really have a lot of time on the weekends, so they kind of dedicate themselves to BNS because that is the one tournament they can play in.
Especially since it was 2-day this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, since we're talking about it, SQSS, $200 prize pool, open entry, 100 teams, 2-day event. It was Swiss rounds into double elimination, so really long, but I guess it really shows who's the best team. What do you guys feel overall about the tournament? I don't know how much of you tuned into all of it. I tuned into pretty much all of it.
More the second day than the first.
Yeah, I did not.
I mean, I think the second day is really what we want to focus on.
Yeah.
The second day, I actually wasn't around. The first day, I casted it, so I know. I watched the VODs or whatever though. Besides the grand finals, I didn't really feel like watching that. I don't know why, but
wait, why?
I don't know. I just wasn't really interested in the 2 teams.
You knew what was gonna happen, and you were like, eh.
Well, I mean, come on.
Really?
You had Revolve, who was a pickup European team, who won the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Like
I mean, it wasn't really. I don't know how you can't really call these things pickups when they play together all the time anyway.
Fine.
Yeah.
You know what we mean though, because the thing is, like, they're going against teams that are like practicing. They do play with each other all the time, but they're going against teams like established teams that are practicing with each other all the time and actually have like, you know, supposed to have like team synergy. So, like, shouldn't that like spark your interest even more? Especially you, since you like to break things down.
I mean, I actually watched a couple sets, and there was nothing to break down really because of internet reasons.
Oh my god!
I disregarded a lot of things.
Ooh. Okay.
Anyways, we were not sponsored by Adidas, Kendall. Don't bring that up.
I was just saying, I was showing the shade coming over.
Oh, okay.
The horizon.
Anyways, I thought the tournament overall was pretty good. It still shows that EU is still on top. I mean, that kind of we predicted.
Oh, come on.
What?
No, yeah, that's definitely what it showed, for sure. EU's way above right now.
I mean, it showed it again. We haven't had a tournament where, like, everyone's been together in a while.
Has NA team won SQSS besides one's like...
Saikai.
Saikai won, like, one or two of them. Back in the day.
Yeah, and the highest placing non-EU team was
like in the last
again.
couple ones we've had, like, hasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's not to say that they can't
teams.
catch up still. Like, there's still room for people to catch up, but EU is still pretty far ahead.
Yeah, and if you're looking at the
Saikai
top
win
8,
back in like September.
No, Saikai won one. I think
They won the first ever one. I think they won the second one as well.
And then they won another one like in.
That's what I'm saying. Wasn't like
March? No, February.
This time past February?
I don't know. It was like January was, I think, that really close step between Ethereal and.
I feel like since like November, like it's been European teams winning like SQS.
I think Saikai won one at least since then. But yeah, if you look at the top 8 in this one, it's just Prophecy and Saikai, and that's it from North America. Everyone else is EU, and that's like.
I was right. Saikai won September and October, bro. It's been a while.
Oh dang.
Anyway, Saikai was the only team that seems to compete.
Wow.
The one thing I will say about these matches overall is I think that it shows that the teams are actually pretty close. It's that NA doesn't know how to close out matches. Because if you look at the scores, they're not like that much of a blowout. Like, they are fairly close. Even when it's like a 3-0, it's just they don't close, which EU somehow knows how to do a lot better.
Wait, who's about this? I was gonna ask a question before that, but who was the team that went through losers?
Oblivion.
Oblivion? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got knocked out by Chikara, but they took out Olive and Spanish Army and Elf.
First, before we pass on, how do you actually say that? It's Chikara, right?
Yeah.
We have a post in it on our chat. It's pronounced Chikara.
Pronounced Chikara.
Chikara. That was probably one of the best memes of the tournament. Was anytime Chikara was on, was like, "How do you pronounce it?" And Hitzel's just constantly pronouncing it wrong. It's perfect.
Bless Hitzel.
So, anyways, it was pretty cool. It was great to see a clash. And that being said, I guess it proved that prize pools do bring in top teams, as we predicted. I mean, like, all we need is STDX to actually play in online tournaments now.
I mean, get a big enough prize pool, maybe. I don't know.
No, it's not even that. They're just not available for 2-day event like that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they were literally scrimming one of the days because they couldn't play the other day, and then they had to stop because the tournament started and all their scrim partners were gone.
I mean, it is a lot of commitment. 2 days.
Oh, 2 days is a lot. Even for us, it's a lot. Like
two days, yeah. Basically, spend a whole weekend playing Splatoon.
I mean, but would you want that big of a prize pool like online? Like, I could see that getting.
Yes.
If the lands are bigger, sure, but.
Yeah, right now, since you can't.
That all goes back to what I said before, Kendall.
I mean, okay. You're right, but I'm just saying, like, if we had like an opportunity, say like if there was going to be a big prize pool, I feel like if like the next tournament is going to be like a LAN, like, I know it obviously depends on the organization, but like just like have a community like vote and be like, yo, let's put it for the next LAN and try to get more people to come out for it. I don't know.
It depends. So actually, we'll get right into our topic then. Is that
sorry for changing?
No, it's perfect. You totally made the segue into our next topic, which is prize pool in tournaments in general, and more. I was talking. By the way, I'm not throwing shade on Ninja in any way, but I was talking to Ninja on Twitter because he brought up a thing about how NA is not focusing on EU for prize pools. How we're very NA focused, right? And all the prize pools and all the money is coming from NA. So if you said we focus on another LAN, wouldn't you argue that then we're excluding Europe? and I guess the second question is, do you feel like NA organizations, because I know you're from GSM, I'm from Ink TV, Hermes and Walkman from Ink TV, do you guys think that we have a responsibility to focus on EU?
Walkie, you want to start?
I know all of you are already disagreeing because we argue about this all the time.
This is the love of it, man. There's no hard feelings.
There's no hard feelings about it. So I mean,
except for when there is.
I really hate the idea of all these prize pool tournaments at time zones that, you know, you people just can't play in, because while it's obviously good for everyone in NA, if there's no equivalent in the EU, there has to be something. And here's another thing is like with BNS was what was it, $350, right?
Yeah.
And only NA could play in that. There was another tournament that a week where maybe the money could have just went there, and then everybody would have had a chance. And it's just I don't know. I really can't get behind this idea.
So I do want to clarify BNS though, is that we literally just opened up a donation. And we're like, this is what you can fund to. We didn't really promote or anything.
I know. No, I know that. First of all, the donation was for BNS specifically. Like that, to make that clear, like that's what it was for. That's what all the money was raised for. But it just doesn't really make sense when the highest. Other than that was the $200 one, which is supposed to be bigger, but it just doesn't add up. I know I didn't explain that well, but...
I mean, I guess the second question is, because we brought this up, but I'll phrase it as a question to you, Walkman, is, so... why can't EU just make their own organization that focuses on EU? Or why can't someone like Esports Bros be that EU correspondence if you already want an established org? Why does it have to be GSM or InkTV or Endgame, for example?
Well, there's so many factors. I told you about this the last time.
Well, bring it up to me, Walkman.
I know. That's what I'm doing. Can you let me finish? All right, so well, you bring up Esports Bros in general. The first thing about that organization is obviously they're pretty much right now it's only for French, correct?
Well, they just announced that they have a league that's running for all of Europe. The FRST tournament is now open to all of EU, and I believe they have swag that they're giving away, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, FRS, I do know what you're talking about. It's like,
first or whatever.
It's just for like T-shirts or something, man.
Yeah. It's still prizes. What I'm saying is why
T-shirts ain't enough. I'm sorry.
Okay, but it starts with that. But why can't they be the correspondents for EU to do that type of stuff? Like, to give an example, we did a donation stream. It's not like we just found sponsors or something. It's like we just asked people if they wanted to help out. I
mean, that's whatever they want to do. Like, other than that,
but why? Really... Okay, so here's my question: is why is it that they can do whatever they want, but we have to oblige to EU?
Because you'd still do those tournaments, like, kind of for everybody. They're not really... The way that they always marketed themselves was as a French thing. We never did that.
Their big things that they're for the French community, because the French community is this small little pocket within the larger...
And I believe for that, they did partner up with somebody else, so it's not really just them.
Yeah, and I think they have backing from Nintendo of France specifically now. Not Nintendo of EU, Nintendo of France. So, or at least they have some sort of partnership going. So I think that it's, like, they're very focused on the French scene specifically, which is really cool, and I think that's good, because that scene has grown tremendously. You see teams that do end up coming out of that smaller group, like L Firm doing really well in a lot of the SQSS tournaments and stuff like that. But, like, that's their focus, is the French scene, and there isn't really anyone out in EU for all of EU, except for maybe Esports Hub, but they don't stream, they just run things, and, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, okay, like, I remember...
And you also have to think about, before this, is like, with Esports Bros in general, their main language is French. Ours is English. Most of their TOs do speak, like, kind of brokenish English. So they can't be doing all these things for everybody all the time.
Language barrier is huge. Yeah.
I mean, like, wasn't your biggest point was the fact of, like, also, I mean, this is what you brought up on the side, was that, you know, like, basically giving towards where the talent is?
Yeah.
I mean, is that fair?
What do you mean, is it fair?
Like, okay, say for instance, is it fair? Like, why do we have, like, say for instance, what do you call for, like, accommodating? Obviously saying, like, for instance, as I said, that's org dependent on, like, if they wanted to, like, be like, all right, you know what, guys, SQSS is this week, and we're going to be like, all right, let's give the 350 to SQSS so that, like, everybody, EU, whatever, can play in it, right? But at the same time, say for instance, like, why, like, for us, as Spoon has brought up, like, why would we go from, like, times of, like, trying to, like, put it towards maybe, like, the weekend where it's, like, 1 o'clock or whatever, that, like, why would we do this for... I'm not saying that, like, we shouldn't go out of the way to, like, add them into it, but like, why would we break our backs to do it when it's such a significant time difference?
But it's not breaking our backs. It's like, I know we did talk about this on the side, was with, at least specifically for Ink TV, is that sometimes it's harder for us to do weekend tournaments, and SQSS is pretty much the only one we can do at the moment. So it's, at least in our example, to me, it's not really like, if we're going to be all available for this tournament on the weekend already, we already scheduled it, you know? So even if we do, let's say, maybe break away from SQSS and did our own thing on the weekend instead, at least the money's going somewhere where everybody's, you know, has a chance.
Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. You ready? Okay, so what about if we're there to cultivate NA talent to be as good or on par with EU by money incentives? Wouldn't you be striving for the best competition possible?
I think there's some friendship bias in here.
It just doesn't make any sense. First of all, the way you're doing that is like, you're trying to like break up these two communities or something like that by doing all this stuff.
Like, okay, so my question
is, it's like with Australia, everybody, they have their own tournaments, and look where they are now.
I mean, wouldn't you say that Nintendo does the same thing already?
How?
Okay, and also I do want to clarify.
They gave everyone a chance to compete for the same thing.
Hold on, I want to clarify. For Australia, their time zone is like 13 hours difference. I know. It's complete inverse.
All right.
So that's why they're so excluded, is their time zone is way far off from anyone else.
And are you saying European people can play in BNS because it's only 6 hours, it's not 13?
Yeah, easily.
Yeah. They have school at 6 a.m. in the morning.
You want money? I mean, I seem like I'm not doing it, but
yeah, exactly. That's what the rule is. I'm not doing it, but
I'm not doing
somebody
it.
else.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you really want the money, stay up.
But people, and also people play in like Japanese scrims super early in the morning just so they can get practice in with no prize pool.
Who?
I mean, we used to do it back in Splatoon 1.
Okay. Like, what's this correlation? Is it, if that's practicing and money have nothing to do with each other?
Anyways, I'm kind of just playing devil's advocate for the sake here. In terms of Ink TV, like, we just don't do it because, like you mentioned before, is that we have very limited time on the weekend. So when we do, we have to put it well in advance and know what we're doing, right? And I get what you're saying about pooling it. This was the first event of its kind where we did a donation stream for BNS, right? And BNS is our bread and butter too. Like, we do it weekly, and I understand Walkman and I brought up points where he's like, yeah, but your community's BNS because you do it weekly and you can do it. And that's right, we can incorporate EU, but for the time being, we're still NA focused because we live in North America and that's how our time zones fit us, right? But we're not trying to punish EU. It's just we have a hard time trying to do things based on our lives. But we would love to do things for EU. Like, it benefits us only, right? Like, if we support EU, we get more viewers, we get more people entering. It all benefits us in the end, but it's hard for us to do, is I guess what I'm saying.
Especially if we do the donation-based thing, because then you can have some of the EU folks who would totally donate for a tournament in which some of their folks can enter in. I would be very surprised if we got that much donations, if any, from any EU folks in BNS this past week. But if we did a weekend tournament and opened up a donation stream worldwide, I'm sure we'd get way more. We could probably like get 500 based strictly on donations, combining the two regions.
So, yeah. True. But Kendall, I do want to bring up something with you, is that you guys announced, speaking of paid tournaments, you guys announced buy-in tournaments, not donations, buy-in tournaments, but you also made it bi-weekly on a Saturday at like 5 o'clock. So you literally just went and said, fuck EU.
You really gonna throw me under the bus like that?
Well,
that's crazy.
It's a better time than BNS.
I mean, fair, but at the same time,
wait, excuse me. It's on a Saturday. On top of that,
that's what I'm trying to say.
Like, if you really want to get into a buy-in, like, That's up to you.
So to be fair, you can't use the argument of BNS being that way. BNS is meant for, like, we're not shy about it. It's really meant for NA. Like, it's a Thursday night at 8 o'clock. It's the only time we can theoretically do a weekly tournament because of our time restrictions. We are unabashedly NA on that tournament. We're not going to beat around the bush, but that's because we have to. We have no other time to do it, right? If we could make it every Saturday at like 12 o'clock, we probably would, right? It makes more people come in and it's better, but we can't do that. So it's just what it is.
I mean, our stance was more on the fact of the buy-in. So we, like, obviously, I know Walkie, we talked about this already. It was more on the lines of the fact that we didn't know for the ruling of, like, with buy-ins from different countries, we didn't really want any problems. So that's, like, as I said, GSM Elite, which is June 3rd, sorry. No, June 9th, sorry, actually. And it's a low-risk tournament, pay-in tournament. So, I mean, like, we were just trying to be careful for the first one. The first one's a test, trying to get, as I said, we have an example of a 16 team. It's on Battlefy. Like, first team 70, second team 40, third and fourth 30, and then 5 through 8 is 20, and then 9 through 12 is 10, and then if we get 16, 13 through 16th is 0. So, I mean, it was more of the fact that, like, we're just trying to play it safe. It's not like FEU. Like, I don't feel that way.
I'm messing with you.
I know. I mean, like, I always do feel like we should go in the direction of, like, focusing on NA, and having more majors that bring us together, like, say, like what you have for SQSS or something like that. But I am a part of the people that actually do believe that, like, we do.
You just completely cut out on that last part.
Sorry, as I said, I do believe that, like, about focusing on NA, like, specifically. Like, as I said, I don't think DJ and them want to just, like, do that on purpose, but at this point in time, like, as you can see, NA does need help. So I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Like I said, I'm not on it because I think NA needs growth. I think it's cool that we're cultivating some NA talent in BNS just simply because that was the time zone that we could operate in, and it works out, right? But that being said, is that we'd love to have EU and NA all together if we could. But I guess my question with all of this is that everyone thinks it's on us, all the NA people, to do something for EU. But it's like I said, we have time constraints. It's not that we don't want to, but I can't run a tournament at noon on a Thursday. Like, I can't do it. I have work, you know? So what's stopping another person coming in and running weekly events for EU, not on the weekend, like, to help EU grow? Like, where is that? Like, does no one in EU exist who can do this?
I know, at least from my experience with some of my EU friends, whatever, as the players, they think a lot of the EU tournament organizers are pretty shit. That's just one thing. And I mean, like I said before, it comes down to a lot of things. First, there's language barriers. Then there's, you know, if they want to be a proper organization like InkTV, they need streaming. They need a whole team. They need so many dedicated things that, I mean, we got over time. And I mean, like, think where we would be without Blake's God internet.
But why?
Some of them don't have that option.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But but remember, when we started, none of us had all this crazy stuff, right? Like, I ran streams too before Blake as well, and it ran fine. We just slowly developed it. Like, I understand that someone can't instantly start off and be like Endgame, InkTV, even esports bros, right? Like, in terms of production. But, like, you can start somewhere. Like, what I'm trying to say is there's not even just a weekly Europe tournament. Like, it just doesn't even exist, regardless of stream or not.
Now there is, I think.
Where? I've never even heard of one.
I think like Sea Scraper or something like that.
Yeah, we did advertise one for Sea Scraper, but that's one tournament. We have like 5. We have one every day. We have Ink Force on Tuesdays. We have BNS on Thursdays.
It's not even... Well, that sucks. Nobody wants weeklies every day. They want money in these tournaments. Like, I don't give a damn about playing. Sorry to both of these, Inkforce and BNS, and whatever the Friday one is as well. If there's no incentive, that they're right that they should just scrim, which is what they do. Why do you think they do that?
Well, here's what I'm trying to bring up more is that, to give an example, I don't think we would have received the donations we received if we'd never streamed BNS or didn't have a community around it. You can think what you want about it, but in the end, the fact that we run it on a weekly basis and people tune into that weekly event, it builds that community who's saying, hey, it's worthwhile to buy in and make this tournament something bigger than what it is.
They dropped the trailer for Pokemon.
We're going to watch it after. I'll put it on stream. Don't get distracted. I swear to God, Kendall. We got a lot of content to go through.
I mean, the predictions that everyone was saying were right, but back onto the actual topic.
Anyways, so I guess my thing is that we started from the bottom, now we here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh God!
Oh my God! No.
Spoon, no.
We started from the very bottom. And we
did. Oh, Spoon, you can't say we started from the very bottom, because as soon as we became an organization, we got hooked up with Battlefy and ran a Nintendo.
To be fair, but we made those contacts. Like
we made those contacts.
I'm not trying to completely discredit like everything everyone's doing, but I'm saying it is possible to start grassroots and work your way up. Like, I'm just saying, I think it's beneficial to have at least one EU org that can at least do something, because like relying on us just as a time zone issue is the problem, right? Like, unless we literally do this full time, we can never fully incorporate EU into everything.
Yeah, you heard that. If you guys pay us lots of money in the chat right now, then we'll do EU stuff.
If you pay me a salary, if you pay Blake a salary, we can stream EU for you, no problem. That's literally it. Like, we can't afford to not work, right? So. And
then, all right, just on the last part of it, the that you said that it is possible to do grassroots. Like, yeah, but I mean, even then, they're not going to see probably results for like maybe like a year or so.
Well, here's the thing, though. Who's to say? But who's to say we won't help them, right? Like, if there's an EU tournament that literally shows promise, like actually shows promise, has like their shit together and is like, hey, we're gonna run a weekly, this is what it looks like they're starting out, no one's personally come to us and asked for help.
I don't think anybody's gonna watch them struggle at this
No
point.
one's asked us how to help stream. Like, you know what I mean? It's like we're not gonna bite your head off if you ask us questions. Like, we're here for you, but no one's asked us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there is help. We're not completely against getting people started. Like, we can't run EU. It's something we physically can't do. So we have absolutely no issue helping you getting something started for EU.
I mean, somebody actually in chat, sorry to cut you off, but like somebody in chat actually was saying, why don't you try to start an Ink TV EU division? Maybe open up positions for it and try to see it, and then like run it yourselves.
I mean, that is an option.
Look up talent. Hey, you never know. Walkie, maybe you want to head bet?
Call out Walkie.
What equipment do I have to head that?
No, nobody said that. But I mean, all you have to do is trying to find people that are willing to do it and possibly run it and make sure that it's run properly.
I mean, it is an option.
It's an option. I mean, it's a start. No, I'm not even trying to be like, I'm not trying to call you out.
No. I actually think it's completely valid, because you get the name with it.
The person that brought it up actually, like, I just want to give you props for it. But seriously, like, that's actually a good point.
It's a good idea. Here's the problem that we have. Coming back to EU again, is that it's hard enough for us to find NA people who are willing to do things. Like, we have our dedicated group of people, because they are the people who do work. You know what I mean?
That's kind of it. I would only ever trust Blake with everything in this.
Well, you don't trust me running this stream falling apart every day? Come on.
Oh, Spoon.
Like, if Spoon ran the stream, I probably would have quit a long time ago.
Whoa, hold up. I can actually run a stream pretty efficiently if you actually ask me to.
Look at the old BNS before only Blake ran it. Spoon had a decent stream up. It wasn't
the only issue that I have is actually like, I don't have, my CPU just can't handle what we do right now. If I upgraded my CPU, we could probably run more efficiently, but you know, that'll come with time. Because if we did that, we could split up tournament streaming times. Like, it could be Blake could take a day off. You know what I mean? Like, that's an actual possibility. Anyways, I guess we'll get off that topic. It was heated. But yes, basically, I think EU should try and form their own thing, or even come to us and ask us for help, man. Like, we don't mind helping you, you know? Anyways, you wanna shill your stuff there, Kendall? Talk about how GSM is doing their tournament, because you said it was low risk. What makes it low risk?
So the whole point of it is, and I really, as I said, I wanted the people that actually brought it up. As I said, I'm just running the tournament. And then the people that brought it up, it was actually like DJ's idea to actually bring it towards, and then Prodigy was one of the people that like they brought up the fact of the payout. The whole thing of the low risk is that from, as I said, from if we have 16 teams from position like for places 1 to 12, you get some type of money back. So as I said, from 12th place, like from 9 to 12, if it's 16 teams, you'll get $10 back. So it's, as I said, it's a $20 buy-in, and it's just so that like the prize in the first place obviously gets the most, but it's so that like every single week, like you're at least getting something, and it's basically fueling back into it. So that's really the whole plan, as I said. And just giving the primetime hours is more of like giving an incentive just for players to like, all right, cool, like we can go back into this next week and try again. Obviously, if you come in like 13th, 16th, like that, yeah, you're obviously whatever. But that's kind of like the whole 70% of the entrants are going to be able to get something back from it. That's the whole plan. So
it's open registration, by the way. Like anybody could join.
What do you mean, like
for the beta run or whatever? Because I wasn't sure. Just asking.
You mean for like EU?
I mean that too, but yeah, just in general.
Like, no, I'm trying to understand what you're saying. Like, what do you mean open? Like, is it
like, is it an actual beta run where you have like? Because I haven't looked at the chat in a while, so I don't know. Is it because what I was asking was like there was like 8 teams that agreed to sign up originally, but then other people could sign up too as well, right?
Yeah.
No, all right, no, and then the EU thing is anybody can join, correct?
As I said,
because I looked through the rules. And
I don't think we changed that.
There was no mention.
I don't think we changed that. No. As I said, that's why I asked DJ and Prodigy actually.
Prodigy saying yes, holy yes. Anyone can sign up.
Thank you. Anyone can sign up. Thank you. That's why I asked. I pinged. I asked.
Okay, I guess my question to you now, Kendall, is: do you think that this is a way to? Well, obviously you're going to say yes, but I want to know your reasoning. Is do you think this is a way to grow the scene? Is this a test for you guys? Do you think this will work? Because like you said, it's low risk, which means the first place team doesn't get a huge payout, right? It's more that you pay in and incrementally as you go bi-weekly, you accumulate more money.
Yeah, personally, I think it will work. I mean, for me personally, it just gives a way for like even like lower level teams just to say like, hey, like at least like every week we have an incentive to like try to go back into this tournament and maybe like go up to like 8th place or go up to like 5th or 6th. So I mean, it's a way to like give an incentive to get like those teams that feel like, you know, that 1 through 4, like dang, I can't hit that, but maybe if I hit 6th this week, I can actually like improve, I can actually grow, I can actually like see something out of it. So yes, I do think that it's a great way for getting those lower end teams where you've been trying to get them to like be more engaged, scrim more. They can actually see like, dang, like, yo, we came in 16th. I just blew like $20 doing this, but you know what? Let's try again next week and see if we can get 10th. And then it's like, yo, we got 10th this week. And for some other teams, it's just, it won't sit well with them. So it's kind of like breeding, like, I guess you want to say more competition and also allowing for more development. So please sign up. I think that it's a good way of like changing the mindset also of paid online tournaments. So I think it's a great idea. Also, as I said, shout out DJ, because he's definitely the one that came up with this.
I think it's a great idea as well. Yeah, it's like first place, I guess, under their model was like they get, I think, $70 for 20 teams or something like that. Mm-hmm. Obviously, but split amongst 4 people, that's not a lot. But I mean, if you get that, then maybe you get, you know, you won another tournament prize pool because we're getting more of those. Eventually, it does start to add up. And
I mean, if you're that team that comes at first all the time and you're smart about it, I mean, that could be that literally could be like you going to lands.
That could be like $200 in 1 week, maybe. That's like a plane ride right there, at least.
Yeah. Get more teams out there.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great idea.
I will say that I don't know if it'll work. I think it's all like new waters, right? We've done buy-in before, and we did it once, and we're like, okay, we're not doing this again. But I do want it to work, if that makes sense. I think getting people in the habit of doing a buy-in is just good for the scene in general. Like I mentioned before, if we do get to a point where teams start actually getting sponsored to the event where they'll pay buy-in, shut up, Walkman, where they get paid buy-in. I think that'll help, because that means that we can do buy-in, and it's not the players themselves putting that portion in, it's the orgs putting it in. And then at that point, it's less about like, it's not a financial burden on people because the orgs can cover that cost. You know what I mean? So I think that it's good overall. It's good for the scene to actively promote putting some money into it. Like, you get in what you get out kind of thing. So people need to understand the concept that organizing shouldn't be from the bottom of your heart every single time. There should be something that goes into it. And I'm not saying that like we need to take a cut, but I'm saying like you have to understand that there's things that go into the event, and like there should be a monetary value associated with that. Even if all of us decide not to take any money and we put it all into prize pool, just the idea that you're like putting that in your head that there is a monetary value to this is a good idea. So we'll see how it works out. I'm rooting for you, Kendall. Everyone go sign up.
Sign up.
Okay, so we'll get into some viewer questions here. Let me open up these questions. Sorry, I need to get this.
Wait, Spoon, you missed something.
What did I miss? Oh, shit.
You know, it's the
How did I forget the biggest thing that's happening this week?
Yeah, the thing that two of us are flying out to in like a couple days.
So, yeah, Hermes and Walkman, they're going to SNS this week. We were going to have but we're going to have an SNS preview right now covering SNS. So what do you guys think going into it? What are the top teams heading into this event? Educate me.
Can we just like, so what's your blatant dumb pick that you're ready to pick over STDX?
Why would you say that?
Can I say something?
Everyone knows STDX is the favorite.
What's your devil's advocate pick? Can we please just get to it? I want to know.
Oh, who are the teams? I actually don't know the teams that are playing.
Okay. So yeah.
Okay.
So, well, I actually have the inside scoop on how they seeded this as well. So
what's Blake's team name?
I don't know.
I did see this. I forgot.
Blake's team is gonna win.
I hope so. Everyone throws so Blake gets at least second.
Oh yeah, conflicting schedules. Conflicting schedules is gonna beat STDX.
All right. This before at least unless Hermes has it open right now. The teams.
I want to see it.
Yeah, I got all the teams.
All right, so you can go through whatever I guess at the top.
All right.
Put it in. Can you send it?
So in terms of like the who's going to be there and kind of like seeding and stuff like that. Like obviously you have SCDX that's predicted to win. You have Deep Blue's Clockwork, Komodo, Monarchy, SKR, License to Krill, Bet, Hanran, Yami, Vitamin C, Notorious, and SKR 2 team named Bible Discussion Study Meeting. Look it up. And then you also have like Black Squid Ink Burger, Scrivener, and a bunch of other like this is one of the few lands that I've seen more than just like 10 actual teams that go, and there's at least 15 plus actual teams, not pickups, like actual teams here, which is insane, and that's really cool.
I think second place is going to be very competitive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Second place will be super.
I love that underhanded. I actually agree with you. I don't think there's anyone who can compete with STDX in this tournament.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't want to be.
I think Kivor and Hexen are going to have to miss their plane flights for this one.
This should be their easiest one technically on paper. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because they don't have a legacy.
Maybe
Komodo isn't where they were.
I think. Yeah. I think the best way to describe it is I think the overall competition has gone up this tournament. Like, you're going to see a lot of teams vying for top spots, but the peak has not been there. You know what I mean? Every tournament you've seen, like, Saikai and STDX. Yeah, because you had Saikai who was in it. Like, they're a top team, right? They can compete with STDX. This, you don't have anyone on the same caliber of STDX, but the overall level is a lot higher than it was at G5.
We almost had Tomo. I think something happened and they ended up not going, but Tomo would have been the team that would have been looking to do it. But something happened with, I think one or two of their members ended up not being able to go last minute, and
I was definitely about to say, I'm pretty sure G5 definitely was probably the highest competition. You had Team Olive there, like
Olive and Legacy,
so, and Legacy and what?
That's
Deep Blues.
Well, that's more what I meant is that the higher end was stacked on this one. This you're seeing, there's not a lot of lower end teams comparatively to the mid to high tier teams in this event in NA, not EU. I think like the overall skill level's higher. Like if you put it to an average, it'd be higher. But I think G5 had more stacked teams.
Yeah. Okay. Also, I want to point out one thing. We have our first Japanese team flying out specifically for this Splatoon event.
Who is it?
Kachu Fugetsu. It's the all-girls Japanese team.
Whoa, they're flying and like they're sponsored, right?
They're flying to SNS to play. They actually scrimmed Alacrity earlier, like this.
Okay, wait, I need to know this. How did they do? How did they do?
I don't know how the scrim went.
They're gonna win. Sorry.
Walkie, do you have some insight?
I actually caught the end of it. Like right as it ended. I didn't watch the VOD or anything, so I don't know about it. But if you are interested in them after this, probably on Dr. Prodigy's stream they're going to be versing them later as a scrim. So
well, actually, if he's scrimming them like right after this, I'll host it. We'll do that.
Oh shoot! I think someone corrected me in chat. It's not the team. I got confused. But yeah, there is a Japanese team that's going to be there, which is actually really cool.
Okay, so Kendall's going to vote for them.
Why?
Oh, because you're doing it for the World Championships. You're clearly biased.
Wait, excuse me. You've voted against SCDX for the last like 2 NA lands.
Yeah, just because
actual team.
It's because I love messing with you, Kendall.
That is coming from Japan. You understand this? Japan. Not. It's not just any old team.
Well, a Japanese team is going to SNS. You're not going to root for them?
One of them is American-ish. I think she lives here.
Okay.
Anyways, my bet still stands.
I can't wait. I cannot wait for you to lose this bet.
Anyway, so we all decided that first place is going to go to STDX. What do you guys think about the second place team? Who do you think is vying for that second place spot?
I don't know Deep Blues if their entire roster is going, but
yeah, I want to know what roster is going to be there for Deep Blues, because
I think Prodigy and Day and Umbre.
Yeah, Prodigy.
The 3 of them, and then who's the last? I think Marsh is going, so it's it would then be Prodigy, Day, Marsh, and
that's a pretty good comp, especially Prodigy being on.
I'm gonna say Deep Blues for second.
That they might actually take second.
I'm gonna say Deep Blues for second.
Yeah.
The only thing I have to say though is that Clockwork does have like a full Clockwork roster where it's like Hitzel, Perps, Ross, and one more. I forget who else it is, but they have a full roster as well, and they could. I think Deep Blues is the favorite in that matchup, but Clockwork could pull off the upset there too.
How do you guys feel about how would I say oh my god, Komodo in this event, because they only play really in lands. They actually played in BNS last time, but they usually end up doing pretty decent at lands. How do you think they'll do this time around?
Top 5.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely top 5.
I think it just depends on how they're feeling themselves that day. They can take it to number 2. I believe they can take it to number 2. For sure.
Wait, I missed that. That was Komodo, right? Or
yeah.
Komodo's super hot and cold at lands, and you can really tell when they're playing too. Like they're hot and cold. If they're hot, they are hot, and they have the potential to like definitely make a good run. But if they're cold, then you might not even see them in the top 8. It's just really dependent. I think G5 they were pretty cold, and that's why you saw them outside of top 8. But that's why they were super hot during Squid Storm, and that's why they got second.
They didn't get 7th in.
They were either just outside of top 8 or barely top 8. They did not do too hot in G5.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry to tell you, I can't bet against Dude for top 3. So that's one I won't bet.
Actually,
against,
that too, yeah. And Dude's pickup is peak. I know his pickup is him and Spectre with Mudcup, who's a former teammate of mine, really underrated Slayer, and one other Resbit, yes.
Oh, okay. That's a pretty decent.
So like that's a solid pickup, and like I can see them going pretty far. They could definitely get top 3, but they have a lot of folks who play together consistently to go up against.
One last team, SKR.
Yeah, SKR actually got seeded pretty high for this tournament.
SQSS, they actually finished top 6 in the Swiss rounds. They did get eliminated near the middle of the losers bracket, but like they're still a pretty decent team. Do you think they'll make headway in this LAN?
Like I said, it's a really hard battle for second-ish. Once you get to there, you take your dream shot at STDX, sure, but every battle before that is what's really important, I think, for all the other teams. Like all of them can get second, in my opinion.
Yeah, and like even looking at not like SKR, they can do really well and definitely get a like top 4, and even better get like second. You have Monarchy, License Acryl, Bet, and Hanron. Who, reminder, Hanron won last year, so like granted, no STDX wasn't there, but like Hanron won last year. They're going to want to come back and make it a 2-peat at the event. And you can never underestimate those kids. They are really good at this game. And Bet is a new and up-and-coming
Who's the team for Hanron this year?
I know Pug is their one pickup outside of the main roster. The rest of them are Hanron mainstay players. I forget who exactly is on the roster, though.
By the way, I think Prod, we all said that Deep Blues would finish second. I think we all agreed on that.
Yeah. I think it'll be a Clockwork could pull off an upset, but I think Deep Blues has the second. Like Clockwork upsetting Deep Blues is much more likely than anyone else upsetting STDX kind of thing, you know? Yeah. And I think in terms of the way that Endgame and their council seeded it, it's pretty solid and on point. I wouldn't like teams look like they're going to perform where they're going to perform.
Does anyone have anything else to add?
Nah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, we'll get into some viewer questions. We got a couple here. This one is from FSU Blitz, or Blitzin 101. He says, from an innocent Octoling hack, we have gone to weapon parameter hacks and more, and barely a lack of action from the devs. Do you think Nintendo can stop hacking in this game?
Yeah. Yeah, there's, unlike the first game, we have a reporting feature. Just report someone for cheating, and from there, Nintendo at least has a much easier flag on their records to check out, hopefully. And they just need to actually like commit action. There have been people that have already been banned from their console for just the gear editing, not even doing like full-on online hacks. So you know that they are swinging the ban hammer down at least a little bit. And I think as more hacks are coming out, more people are going to get banned. It's just going to take time for Nintendo to catch up. Because remember, we just talked about that last week, and Splat hacks came out a week, like, what, 3 weeks ago at most? 2 weeks ago? Like, give Nintendo another month, I think they can catch up, and they can swing the ban hammer on the people who are going to be ruining the game online for everyone.
I think they have to. Patch is coming out soon. Also, they have to.
No, I said Smash is coming out
soon.
Oh,
yeah. Well, they have to. Paid Online's coming out. No one's going to pay for a service where everyone's cheating. Like, they have to.
They'll complain about it.
Yeah, a lot.
I'm still going to pay. You're still going to pay. Everyone's still going to pay.
I may not pay.
You'll pay for at least the first year.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
$20, bro. Come on, man. Come on. It's not that big.
Listen, it's about the principle, Kendall. I'm from Montreal. We're a proud people.
I know.
We protest everything, man.
Yes, you do.
We protested the lowest education in all of North America to have it lower, okay? Don't test me.
I mean, wasn't that the point of the lower education, to not test?
Anyways, Frog asks, I don't know if you already spoke about the announcement on June 9th. Would be cool to hear some more ideas of what may be announced. What do you guys think will be announced on June 9th on that magazine cover, if I'm not mistaken?
It's going to be something Octoling expansion related. Like, what else is there? Like,
anime.
Yeah, I was going to say the Splatoon anime.
Yeah, I agree. That's what it is.
Yeah.
To me, it's an anime. It's in Japan.
Or manga, whatever.
Yeah.
Either or. Some extension of the manga that they have.
I have one from Crazy Steve. I guess this more applies to Walkman. Maybe me.
Crazy Steve.
Yeah, Crazy Steve at Scaly P is his Twitter handle.
Is that the guy from like Drake and Josh or whatever?
No. Anyways, Crazy Steve asks general tips for casting besides equipment. So he means like commentating. I asked him to specify.
Yeah, I know. There's so much like to say. I don't know if I can get this out like
briefly.
Perfectly.
What do you think are
actually,
some good
to
tips?
start this off on commentary, so that will probably happen. Especially since I got a lot of flights coming up, I'll just sit down and write. So yeah, I do want to do that. And then I guess for commentary, the first things that you want to do, I guess. Like 5 tips I'll give or something like that. The first tip is come prepared. Don't walk into commentary like without like knowing who's in the tournament.
Don't come in being me.
Yeah.
Don't be Spoon. Yeah, I think that's...
So take your notes before whatever you have to do. Especially if it's a LAN, you can get those notes pretty well, I guess.
Yeah.
If you're going to be commentating at a LAN, you know, everybody's registered online. You'll see everybody there. You might have seen what they played before, you know, so remember their weapons or whatever. So that's like the first tip. The second one, I guess, would be like try and just have fun with it. Is like, all right, sometimes I'll get into like deep analysis, but then you also want to like, you know, have like those phrases, I guess, that just add a lot of color to it. Nine does it really well. I think Jordan Kent as well, where they just have like, you know, there's weird phrases that nobody in their right mind thinks of, but it works.
True.
Yeah, so I've been trying to do that, like, but I have to think about it beforehand. So you might even have to write those down as well before you go into the set.
Yeah.
Scripted personality.
I'm just gonna go with 3 actually. Let me go with a third tip right now. Let's think. What is a good third tip? Okay, yeah. Nobody cares about like going into play-by-play, like shoutcasting all the time. That's what I was talking about with the colorful phrases, is that can be a replacement for that. It's very easy to do. And then, because everyone can see what's happening on the screen, don't need you to yell at me and tell me what's happening, because I can see that. Just explain things to me.
Yeah, actually, we sat down with Jordan Kent and we talked about all this stuff. Yeah, play-by-play. One thing that I like to focus on, which I think is one of my strengths when I do real casting, not BNS casting, guys, because on BNS I just talk about Fast and the Furious.
Why do you think I don't do BNS anymore? It's like, it's bad practice for me. I get into
bad
habits.
It's so bad.
I get into such bad habits.
Yeah, you just start ranting about
sometimes
stuff.
when he casts.
Yeah, because we put you in that aura, man. Me and Blake, we totally put everyone to this aura where you can just... you just end up becoming terrible. Yeah, my cat's here.
The slow rise of the cat's head.
Anyways, I just want to bring up one thing in particular, is that it's always, as a caster, it's always okay to be the casual caster. And what I mean by that is you don't have to know literally every single thing about the game. You can literally be the guy that breaks down things for new people. That is completely okay, and it's something a lot of people don't do, which I try to bring up a lot. I try to bring up what the mode is. Why are we playing a map? why Rainmaker is important, why a certain comp is important, like, but in a very basic terms, right? Because a lot of the times casual people don't want to see the more in-depth stuff. They just kind of want to know what's happening, right? Like, why is this guy playing Umbrella? Well, you could say because it's really good on offense, and someone will say, oh, okay, I get it now. You know, some people just want those quick hits, and I think having a commentary that you can pass off on to that is really good. We mentioned that 9 kind of does everything pretty well, but that's really important to have. I think the second thing is that it's really good to learn how to set up people, which a lot of people don't do. So, for example, if Walkman's an analytical commentator, I will set up the play. I would have the game knowledge enough to know that what is going to happen is big, but Walkman can break it down, which I can't do, if that makes sense. So if a game's starting, I might go and say, like, hey, how do you feel about this comp, Walkman? Do you think the splatter shot is a good choice? And you set him up to talk about the splatter shot, and then he can bring it back to you so you can bring in other weapons or other type of compositions. Being someone that you can bounce off ideas to and make a synergy kind of work is really important, that I think a lot of people don't do. They get caught up in their own world of like, oh my god, I need to talk because I'm the fucking best, you know? Sometimes passing it off is a good thing to do. It's true. You got to pass things off sometimes.
Yeah, just to build on that is when I was doing the Inkling Open on whatever our stream with PK Sparks. We talked about it beforehand. He was like, "Hey, I obviously I know about competitive, but I don't know every team. If you just refer to people and tell me about weapons, I'll be able to go off that instead of I don't know, think of a random player, Deep Blue's Day or something like that. Maybe I don't know who that is, but I know about the Bamboozler. So just bring that up, and then I'll build off of that."
Yeah. And I think like the third biggest thing that people don't really bring up on a regular basis, you can have all these tips, but if you don't have like this personality or bring a personality into your voice, it just doesn't work. I've heard a lot of casters where they may be super knowledgeable, but I'm just like, they are gonna put me to sleep, man. Like, you have to be enthusiastic. You have to bring your personality into it. If you're not being yourself while casting, then what are you doing? Like, if you hear me cast, like when I really cast, not BNS cast. When I BNS cast, my whole personality's in it, right?
Don't take notes from BNS ever.
Yeah, don't.
Number one.
BNS is great to get yourself comfortable talking with people, but it's not a great way to learn practices of professional commentating. Let's put it that way. So for entry-level people who just want to get into learning about it, it's cool, but
so it just gets like your nerves down.
It gets your nerves down. It gets you more comfortable talking to people, but don't use it as like a holy grail of this is what you need to do in casting. It's the terrible idea. But that being said, is that it's a good way to get you comfortable with your own personality on screen too, which I think is really big. Is like, I am always me, whether you see me casting in a professional environment, not swearing, or whether I'm on BNS. The tone level of it changes, right? So I think that's really important, is just still being yourself the whole way. Don't try and be someone else. I can't be NinewholeGrains. I'm never going to be NinewholeGrains, right?
No one can be Swole.
But I can be Spoon. I can bring up a Fast and the Furious reference in very mildly in a professional cast, and it'd be fine.
And here's the other thing. No one should be Spoon.
Yes, don't be me. Okay, I guess we'll go into the next question. What direction will the community be headed? Plans to head after E3 Championship? Are there plans on hosting more tournaments for the newcomers, editing, changing the rule sets, etc.? Kendall?
I mean, after E3? Plans isn't like, you know, like lands.
You're cutting out again, Kendall.
Sorry, plans in like lands? Like what exactly?
Well, like, so I guess what I'm saying is, do you have plans after E3 Championship? Are there plans to host more tournaments? Like, what's our goals after E3, essentially, I think is a better way to describe it.
After E3, I mean, coming soon, I mean, basically, for us, I already know that since...
Cut out.
You cut out again.
Bi-monthly, I'm pretty sure that we have a Long Island Splat coming soon. So after E3, that's definitely happening. So don't know have a date yet, but that's something for us that's definitely happening, or me. Besides that, is just for me. I think the next couple months for me, I'm gonna be very little Splatoon because I am moving. So, and I have a wedding to plan for. So for me, Splatoon is gonna be on the back burner for me for a little bit.
I think
after August.
I think our goal is to finally get all our content out. We have 2 shows on the wing waiting to be released, and those will be released at E3. Goals that I have, I want to see prize pools more consistently now after E3 once we get that started, because that'll really inject things into it for people to kind of notice us. And I think just staying consistent. We're kind of now being more consistent as we're going on, and I think keeping that after E3 is a really good thing to do. I just say consistency. Consistency and prize pool is really the big things that we want to focus on. Do you guys have any personal goals you want to focus on after E3?
Nah, I don't really have any personal goals. It's kind of just on the community, I think. Like, I think these next couple of months are going to be pretty important because we started all this prize pool stuff, and I think it needs to stay consistent, like you're saying. And this is the time for that. Pretty much it.
Yeah, I think everything that we can do on our end, like organizing and running, creating content, stuff like that, that's all fine and dandy. But at the end of the day, it's up to the consumers to pass around what is being made and all the cool stuff that's being done, because we need to grow this audience. Like, no matter what, like, it's not just we want Ink TV to be bigger. Of course we want Ink TV to be bigger, that'd be great, but we also want Endgame to get bigger. We want, like, all of the whole community to grow, whether it be more content, whether it be especially more players and more people interested in entering tournaments. But in general, we just want growth because E3 is going to be a big spotlight. We're going to be shown on the same stream, but I think we're going to be shown on stream with our finals right before the Smash invite, so we might get a few folks who came in early that might become interested in the game, who might not have done it before. I know I became interested in Splatoon because I got recommended from a Smash friend, and since then I've ditched Smash for Splatoon. But, like, we need to we just need to continue growing, and the best way to do that is for us to try things and try different ways to grow, and for you guys to really give us good feedback. And if we're doing something right, make sure you're passing it around to others, and make sure you're passing around that content. You know, like, plug them to Kendall's stream, because I think Kendall and Milana are 2 of the top streamers right now for Splatoon. NA wise, EU wise, you got, like, Sendu and all the Olive folks that are doing really good stuff as well.
Out of Filet-O-Fish, check him out in the morning.
That too, yes. I know he's in the morning. I'm never up early enough because I am Pacific.
That is early.
So we'll do another question here. This is from Colo Flame or Kent. He has 2 questions. Do you think more American teams should compete in Japanese tournaments and vice versa? And what maps do you guys want to return into the game if there are still more to come? Someone want to start?
If we're gonna, I'll start on the Japan and America mixing. It's a language barrier. It's the same kind of conversation we had with the French scene earlier, and even more so though, because there's even less common language between people. It just makes it really hard. There are folks who have people on their team who might speak Japanese or who have made contact with translators in Japan, which is really cool. But that's not a very common thing amongst our community, and it makes it more difficult to enter those tournaments. And then also the time zone issue. Like, I mean, I know for a fact that I'm not going to want to play a tournament at what is 1 a.m. for me, because that's when most Japanese tournaments start. And so that would mean me pulling an all-nighter or going to bed at like 4 p.m. so I can wake up and start a tournament when I wake up. And I know that's not for everyone, but, like, time zones. I think EU actually has a decent shot because they have late Japanese tournaments start in the morning for them, and they can enter it.
Try to get in scrims. There you go.
Yeah.
But they're very open to doing, like, scrims with people.
Yep.
Yeah. That's I mean, I think the answer to this question is, like, sure.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't, big whoop. It's not like The Japanese scene has money in it because of laws there at the moment, but you know, that's just the way it is. I guess it's cool, get you more practice, but Japanese scrims, like Kendall said, will probably get you the same thing.
Spoon, how are you doing?
My audio driver died in the middle. I fixed it.
Oh, okay.
All right.
It wasn't XSplit, guys. It was my audio driver. Anyways, yeah, of course I'd like to have Japan in our scene. It's just really difficult. I think that's just the answer. What map do I want to see that's not in it? I don't know. Camp Triggerfish is back. Nothing else matters.
I liked Urchin Underpass a lot.
Oh,
Urchin?
get out of here. Basic.
Okay.
Hammerhead Bridge.
Oh my god, you
Okay,
guys are disgusting.
Yeah, Hammerhead
As
Bridge.
long as
Yo, I'm gonna
I
pull
swear,
up Bluefin because you guys mentioned
Bluefin's
the
another one.
Oh, I like Bluefin.
Yeah,
Bluefin was
is great.
awesome. I'm okay with that.
as long. I saw somebody bring it up. As long. I swear. If they bring back Flounder,
Yes, that.
do not bring back Flounder.
Don't bring that.
No.
We already have
That was one of the
Muscle
worst
Forge,
maps
which
in
is
the
a
game.
better version of Flounder.
It's still bad.
It's still bad, but. Ugh.
No.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of people are saying they're bringing back. I think there was like some sort of like initial like peek into the data files, and they had data for every map except for I think Mahi, which for me is sad because Mahi's also
Mahi.
fun.
Oh, Mahi's
But Mahi
amazing.
was the
Oh my
one
God.
map that they didn't have data for, I think, when they first mined it. So like, in theory, we could even get back Anchovy, hopefully with fingers crossed.
No,
the net is
Anchovy's
absolute
terrible.
butt. Like, because that's the thing. Anchovy, I could see them not bringing back for the sole purpose of that the net issues were really bad, and they're already running on a less stable connection than they were in the first game, or whatever the thing is. Just connection's worse. But yeah.
Sorry, my audio driver died again.
Congrats.
So no, Mahi is my. Yeah, now thinking about it, Mahi's my favorite.
Yeah, Mahi's wonderful.
All right. Hello?
Yeah, we're.
Yeah, we're good.
Get the fuck out.
Can the stream heroes then?
Yeah, Stream Heroes. All right,
Alright, so let's
cool.
go on to the next viewer question.
So we're hello.
Hey, what's
Okay,
up?
so we're just gonna basically get it over with because it looks like my audio's driver is gonna die. So we're just going to finish it off. We have one last question.
EU people.
We have one last question. It's from Dave Andrus, who says, "Are you already planning on talking about the weapon hacking, GSM buying tournament, and the possibility of more donation streams for BNS? Also, you have considered the possibility of Patreon for BNS Inc. TV." Thank you, Dave. You literally listed off every single thing that we were talking about on the cast, which is why I applauded you on the cast for knowing us so well. Also for predicting that, yes, we do have a Patreon and it's now live. So if you guys want to donate to prize pools, we do have a Patreon up that has been released literally now. So if you want to donate, every single penny goes to prize pools or viewer giveaways or donations or that kind of stuff specifically for the community. So yeah, you guys can use our Patreon. It's there for the community, specifically for prize pools. It's going to fund BNS and monthly or big tournaments on the weekend. Also, whatever we get from subscribers and just donations on stream will go to the bigger tournaments as well. So it's kind of fixing both EU and NA, so we don't abandon either or. So yeah, if you guys want to support it, go for it. It's really like up to you guys. Like, if you want to support prize pools, help donate. We're not taking any of it. We're just simply using it to allocate it to our tournaments, pretty much. We're going that route. Kendall's going the the buy-in route. So, anyways,
Both are valid.
anyone want to give some shout-outs before we end the show?
Don't be dumb. Watch Endgame all weekend. And I think we have 2 streams. Gen Game.
Yeah, you have Gen Game. Gen Game. Yeah.
Gen Game. Shout out Gen Game.
Yeah, shout out to Gen Game actually for coming in and doing
Boys
some
from
Splatoon
Mayo.
stuff. That is that's some fun stuff right there. But yeah, tune into SNS this weekend. It's going to be awesome. There's going to be, as we mentioned, like, yes, STDX is going to be there, and for one, it'll be one of the first times we'll see them in a while. So that'll be fun. And then there's a whole bunch of other good teams there. Lots of fun stuff in the pools, etc. Also, there's pools there as well. Not just the tournament pools that we're all going to be swimming in. Please be sure to meet me there. I'll push you in, but push you in with love. It's all good.
Anyone else?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Obviously, SNS, go support that. Both streams. Obviously, like I said, these next few months I think are probably the most important of Splatoon 2's life so far. So honestly, just keep supporting. It'll mean a lot. Obviously, I think like the most we've gotten for like a LAN is like 5,000 something viewers. So let's try and break that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then also obviously E3 in a couple weeks as well. Hopefully some more Splatoon action, and all 4 of us will be there.
Yeah, it's true. All 4 of us are gonna be there. It's true. We're gonna we'll talk about E3 next week as well. Also a little bit more potentially about our plans. We have a couple of things in the works. Hopefully, if the internet's good enough, we can maybe do an Ink Radio live at E3. So we'll see. Or maybe a daily Ink Radio, just about a recap of what we've done. So we'll see. Also, we have some things planned so that me and Kendall can argue with each other. So,
are we going to become the next daily vlog?
No, no, God, no. Anyways, last thing. Donate if you want to help support prize pools. We have a $1,000 tier where we will literally make a tournament off of your name if you sub to it because you fully funded the tournament. I doubt we'll never ever get it, but we put it there as a pipe dream. So go for it, guys.
Really stupidly crazy.
There's some crazy people. So that's why we put it there. It's like it's kind of like bait. It's like tempting fate. It's like, do you have $1,000 to blow? Here, we'll make a tournament for you.
What did you guys just play? Oh, I just won the binary Alto.
Yeah, dude, that's the whole point. But think about how amazing that is. We sponsor a tournament in your name. It's dope. We'll advertise it under your name, too. So we'll make it the Dave Andrus Tournament series.
Yo, seriously, let's get that Hot Putts 12 tournament, though. Putts will be on commentary if Putts can fund it.
Anyways, that's it for our show, guys. Have a great night. Thank you for watching. See you guys later.